Welcome to the Golf Cart Garage, everyone. We're back again. Got people in the room already. Cool. How's everybody doing? Thank you for showing up. What do we got here in the room? Easy Mike, what's going on, man? Michael Cashton, joining from Odessa, Florida. What's going on, Michael Cashton? Thank you for stopping by. Kurt, glad you're here. Ready to rumble. Ricky Smith, 71 in North Carolina. Nice. Super busy with the new house. Craig's been moving. He has to move 100 yards, if I remember right. I've had to do the same thing before. Rock Dog, what's going on, man? Lloyd Lou, good morning, Tim, from sunny California. Craig, nice intro. Oh, let's see. Gary England, trucking in Northwest Ohio, heading to Romulus, Michigan, and it's cool and windy. Gary England is the latest winner of the bag of swag from last episode. Did you receive anything yet, Gary? I don't know. It might be too soon. I don't know if they said they were going to send it out. It's probably too soon, because if they send it out Friday, then you might not have it yet. NWRC, hello everyone. What's going on? Thank you for stopping by. 82 and sunny in Athens. Catherine O'Brien, that's my wife on Facebook, is showing me that Facebook is working. She's in Texas right now. She is visiting her father. Her father had to have some surgery, and he hurt himself, and he had a little surgery, so I want everybody send some well wishes and prayers out to my father-in-law, Harry. He's recovering from a surgery in Texas right now, and that's where my wife is at visiting with her parents. And I'm not going to talk bad about her today because she's there, and her my father-in-law had surgery, so I'm not going to talk bad about her today. Oh, Gary, you did get it. Okay, you got it Saturday. Good, good. You got your hat. Cool. Gene says, we're watching because we're always learning. Well, thank you, Gene. Norman Lucky, how's it going? David Shelley from sunny Key West. Cool, David Shelley. Thank you for stopping by. Sir Walter, 69 in Raleigh, North Carolina. Praying for the family. Thank you, Rock Dog. Easy Mike, get well soon, Harry. Craig, get well soon, Harry. Hey, Tim, this is from Keith in Nashville. What's going on, Keith? Nate Medlin has a question. All right, Nate, we'll see what we can do. Since I use my EZGO 1990 for a farm work, should I upgrade the motor for speed or torque, or is there a motor that has a good balance of both? It's lifted and has 22-inch tires. Nate, I would definitely change it to a torque motor. Just quit worrying about speed and put it as a torque motor, because if you start trying to make it fast and it's lifted with 22-inch tires, that's going to cause it to try to pull a whole lot more amps, and that's where you're going to get into some trouble unless you're willing to upgrade everything, like all your wires, your solenoid, your controller, everything. But a torque motor is actually easier on the electrical system because it's easier for it to pull those taller tires. So if you're going to do anything, go with a torque motor. I don't like it when people worry about speed with work vehicles, with utility vehicles. That's why I love my PDS that's lifted. It's got a big motor, a big torque motor in it. It's not any faster than a normal PDS, and I'm running on 20-inch tires. It's probably only about 15 miles an hour at the most, and but it's got a big fat torque motor that doesn't turn a whole lot of RPMs, but it will pull a stump out of the ground. I mean, it's got power for days. That's what I wanted, and that's my work vehicle. Fish Breath, what's going on, Fish Breath? 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲. I forgot it. I did know it, Fish Breath, but I forgot how to pronounce it. Factory electric motor is a General Electric 2 horsepower. That is correct. It's not a very powerful motor, Nate. You could upgrade that to a higher horsepower torque setup. Will rain damage a battery charger if it has to be charged outside? It depends on what charger. If you're talking about one of those older transformer chargers, definitely. They hate water. I mean, any kind of water gets in there, it could mess things up. Now, some newer chargers, some of the solid state newer chargers, like even the Leicester Summit 2 is it's one of those IP67 ratings or something like that, which is supposed to handle a direct hit with a regular water hose. So, you know, it just depends. But those older transformer chargers, no, they can't get wet. Bruce from Westfield, Wisconsin. What's going on, man? Jeffrey, hey, Tim. Get well. Oh, okay, damn. Get well for my father-in-law. Yeah, 45 degrees. What's up there, Jeffrey? Thank you for stopping by. Oh, I got some people on Facebook here. Joseph Sanfratello. He says, awesome channel, Tim. Thank you, Joseph. I own a 2002 Club Car DS with the shunt motor. I'm getting 50 on both large terminals of the solenoids with key off. Pull the solenoid out in the cart and got a reading of 0.175 ohms. Do these readings tell me my solenoid is stuck in the closed position? Needs to be replaced. Thanks for all you do for the community. Joseph, the only way you need to tell if your solenoid is stuck in the closed position is take the two cables off of the two big posts and go ahead and take the cables off of the small post too, just so it's completely isolated from the system. And then do a ohm test on the two big posts, or a continuity test. Do a continuity test across the two big posts, because if there's continuity across the two big posts, then it's closed. If there's none, then it's open. You set your voltmeter for a continuity test by putting it on one of the ohm setting, or even the diode setting. You can put it on the diode setting. There's a little symbol of a diode on there. You can put it on that setting, and then you take your leads and you just touch them together first and watch your voltmeter and make sure that it changes. That means continuity when they're together. So if you were trying to go across the two big posts, you would put them like that. That would show continuity if it was closed. If it was open, it would be nothing there. It would just be like these leads sitting right here. It would be nothing. You close them, and that shows continuity on those two big posts. And that would show that it would be stuck closed. Where was I at? Oh, that was right here. That was Joseph. I got you. Hey, Tim. Oh, Jeffrey from the Poconos, 45 degrees. What's up? 45 degrees. It's coming here soon, I'm sure. Craig says mine's a PowerWise QE charger. Okay, that's one of them little black chargers that people call boat anchors when they go bad, because you can't fix anything. I do not think that is waterproof, but check and see. It might have an IP rating, like an IPX rating. It may be rated for splash proof, because it's not as open as those old transformer type chargers. So it will probably have a better weather resistant rating than those old transformer chargers I was talking about. Fish breath, how do I know if I have a shunt or a series car? Does your car have a tow run switch, Fish? If it does, then you have a shunt wound. If your car does not have a tow run switch, then you have a series wound. Okay, yes to what? You have a tow run switch? There's such a delay. Okay, yeah, you got it. Sometimes it's hard to answer a question with the delay. Joseph says, thank you. I will test that when I get home. That's what I would do, Joseph. That's an easy way to tell if it's stuck closed, but it's got to be completely isolated from the system, so you've got to disconnect everything from it. Tow run, yes. So you have a shunt, Fish. Ab, what's up, Ab? Hello, gearheads. Okay, we better get started with the regular questions. Well, by the way, my name is Tim. I work for Golf Cart Garage, in case you did not know. We offer a service called Gearheads on Demand at Golf Cart Garage, where you can actually schedule a one-on-one phone call with me. Click the link in the description. That'll take you to the scheduling page. You can schedule in a time slot if it's available. If my time slots are booked out far in advance, you can catch us here every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 noon Central Time. We come here live, get several people in the room. We got a lot of people with different experience in the golf cart world. If I don't know the answer, someone in the room may be able to help and provide some information. So catch us here live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 noon Central Time. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube, obviously, but you can also follow us on other platforms. Here's our TikTok and our Instagram links going up right there. You can follow us on those, but please like and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. That all helps. What does a tow run switch do? Okay, tow run switch takes the electrical system out of the equation, David, because shunt wound cars are regenerative braking cars, and if you didn't have a tow run switch, it was always in run. When you pull the car, that's why we've talked about this before, you can't pull a shunt wound car without putting it in tow. It's kind of like a maintenance mode. It shuts the electrical system off in tow so you can pull it in case it was dead for some reason. Because if you didn't do that, then the car is going to continue to regenerate the batteries, the regenerative braking. It's going to turn into a generator and start putting power to your batteries, and it's going to burn everything up because it's not doing it the way it's supposed to. It's not doing it with key on and the system going. So it's there for a safety deal if you ever have to pull the car, if you ever have to tow it. That's why they have a tow run switch. Okay, number one of the regularly scheduled questions. I'm getting an MOT A1 for my 96 DS, and it also needs a controller. What would be the ideal amount of amps on that controller to get the most out of this motor? Well, there really is, to me, there really is no ideal amount of amps, because I've said this before, it doesn't matter how big or how many amps that controller has. That doesn't mean that it's going to push that many amps to the motor. In fact, it doesn't push any amps to the motor at all. Your motor pulls amps from the controller. So my point is, get as big a controller as you can afford. Get as big a one as you want. It's not going to hurt a thing. It's not going to hurt a thing. Just depends on what your future upgrades are. If you plan on getting lift kits and taller tires in the future, you may want to get a bigger controller. I mean, a lot bigger. If you don't, if you just want to upgrade to your existing car with the same size tires, just get a nice aftermarket controller with a slight upgrade, something like that, a slight bit more amps if it's going to save you money. But if you plan on doing any future upgrades that have to do with taller tires, that's the main thing. Then get a bigger controller and you'll be ready for it. But it's not going to hurt your motor. It's not going to hurt your existing motor by doing it. Fish, you said I should upgrade my solenoid if I get a 𝗏𝘂𝘁 controller. What size solenoid do I need? I have a 2009. It will tell you that when you, in the 𝗏𝘂𝘁 description, it will say heavy duty solenoid recommended, and if you'll go to the 𝗏𝘂𝘁 site, they even have wiring diagrams. I believe what they call for is a 200 amp solenoid. 200 amp is plenty, 200 amp solenoid, because that 200 amp solenoid means it's capable of 200 amps constantly. It is capable of way more than 200 amps period for just a few seconds or so, which is the only time that you'll ever even get close to that in a golf cart. The cart will still move if you don't change the tow run, but you will toast your entire system. Yeah, you will. You'll toast the entire system, that's for sure. Sir Walter, what's going on, Sir Walter? I have a 2005 Club Car DS with RTSW purchased. RTSW, what's that? I'm drawing a blank there. Oh, is that rims? It has 5 lug hubs. Are they aftermarket hubs, or did they come OEM in 05? No, something's wrong there. You should not have 5 lugs on anything you purchase for a 2005 Club Car DS, unless your Club Car DS is some kind of utility vehicle from the golf course, just kind of loosely based off a DS. But if it's a normal 2005 Club Car DS, it should not be 5 lugs anywhere. It should be 4. And are 4-gauge battery cables good, or should I go to 2? Okay, it depends on what you're going to do, Fish. If you're going to go all the way, and like I did, taller tires, torque motor, big controller, I went with 2-gauge welding cable, you know, and I have never had a single issue. Now, could I have gone with 4-gauge welding cable and accomplished the same thing? Very likely. I probably could have. It would have probably been fine. But I'm not, all I know is I went with 2, no heat whatsoever, never had a loose connection, never had any problem. Oh, okay. It had a run toe, Sir Walter. I have a 2005 DS with run toe switch. Okay, so you have a shunt wound. I got you. You got an IQ. It's a 2005 Club Car IQ, and it has 5 lugs. They must. The answer to your question is that they must be aftermarket because the 2005 doesn't come with 5 lugs. So that must be an aftermarket setup. Okay, on Facebook, we got to jump over here. This is from Joseph Thomas on Facebook. What's going on, Joseph Thomas? 2007 Yamaha golf cart. Oh, I lost it. Just a second. With new batteries and cables, surges after about 50 foot, like someone is turning the key off and on. Motor terminals are very hot to touch. Okay, that's not good. That's not good, Joseph. It's if your motor terminals are getting that hot, that could be the device that is actually electrically shutting itself down after a certain temperature. It might not be your controller, it might be your motor itself. I had a customer send me a video of them, and they sent me a video of the inside of their motor. In fact, it was a, did you say you were doing a Yamaha? Yeah, in fact, his was a Yamaha. He said he took his out and cleaned everything up inside his motor, and everything was fine. But if you've got motor terminals getting really hot to the touch, then there might be a problem inside that motor. You could tell you what you could do first, change those cables first and see if they're still getting hot, just to make sure that it's not the cable itself, because a bad cable can get hot. I'd change the cable first before you dove into that motor. Let's see, Pam, what's going on, Pam? On Facebook, Pam Brazil. I have an EZGO golf cart gas, approximately 2001. How can I shift to neutral should I need for maintenance? On a 2001 EZGO, if I'm not mistaken, you just have to put it in between forward and reverse to crank it in neutral. It's been a while since I have messed with one of those, but I believe somebody listening correct me. On a 2001, that's going to be an EZGO with a twin-cylinder Robin. Do you have to do anything else in order to crank it in neutral besides put the gear shift lever in between forward and reverse? Is there any kind of switch or anything on the inside or anything you need to do? That's what I'm asking, just so I'll make sure I told her the right thing. Daryl Kimbler, good afternoon. Hello, Daryl. Watching while fishing on the New River. So that's cool. Were you the guy watching while you were bass fishing the last episode? I thought that was cool. Sir Walter, yours is probably set up for dualies. Yeah, it might be. 2-gauge, just a few more dollars. Yep, it is. Fish says, I'm getting a hesitation while driving. It feels like I'm going to stop and then goes again over and over. Is this going to be an 𝗟𝘂𝗲 issue? Very, very likely, Fish. Very likely. Anything like that is going to be related to the 𝗟𝘂𝗲, because the 𝗟𝘂𝗲 is the device that sends the signal to the controller, tells the controller what to do, tells the controller how smooth to make its output to the motor. So if you've got garbage signal going into the controller, you're going to have garbage signal coming out, and then your motor's going to give you garbage. Mike Irwin, Southern Indiana. Shout out to you, Mike. Big Mike. What's up, everyone? Big Mike. How's it going, man? Plowboy, greeting another past winner of the bag of swag, Plowboy 800. Greetings from Southeast Wisconsin. Golf cart season continuing, coming to an end, and up here, I'm afraid. Good time for maintenance and go fast goodies, though. Yes, definitely, definitely. Craig says you got to jump off this train. Have a good day, Gearheads. Give Tim some likes. Love. Thank you, Craig. Thank you for stopping by, even if it was just for a minute. I appreciate it. Thank you. or two. Is an aftermarket M-Core okay to get, or is this part I should get OEM? Now that's a loaded question, Fish, because an OEM M-Core, I'll tell you the facts as I know them. An OEM M-Core is very expensive. That's going to be expensive. I know that there are some really inexpensive M-Cores on Amazon and eBay. I know that. I have customers, I talk to customers all the time that have bought that. And they continue to buy that. In fact, I've had one customer says that they want to go ahead and continue to do it, even though they have to change it out about every 2 years, is what their experience has been. So that's up to you. You know, what do you want to do there? There are some cheap ones, but I have heard some horror stories about those. So you make that decision, you know, on that OEM or not, because it's a money decision. Number 2, Jeffrey says 2001 EZGO, just in the middle, just keep your hand on it if you rev it up. Did you, let me close this and go back over here and make sure Pam heard that. That's what I thought. Pam, somebody verified on a 2002, which is most likely the same as yours. You do have to just put it in between forward and reverse, but you might want to keep your hand on it when you rev it up, just to make sure that it doesn't slam into reverse or forward accidentally. So keep it on right in the middle there. This is from Paul S., number 2. I have a 2019 EZGO RXV Elite, and I want to add a rear seat kit. But my mechanic told me I need to add weight to the front if a rear seat kit is added because of the batteries. I have lithium in the cart. I want to confirm that is true. I left that question in here on purpose. I wanted y'all to hear that question, and because I know some of you have lithium and everything. And I've been getting a lot of this is one thing that wasn't really considered when the lithium hit the market for golf carts, is that the dramatic weight decrease, it's going to have a pro list, but I was wondering if there was any cons to it, you know, and I want to know if this is really true, if that's a con or not. If you go with lithium and a rear seat kit, do you feel the need to put any kind of ballast on the front to hold the front end down because of the dramatic weight difference? I mean, I don't really see that, but we are talking about 300 pounds difference. So I never really thought about that before. So people with lithium and a 4-passenger kit, I want you to give me some feedback on that, because that question is not going to be the only time I get that question. I guarantee you. That's just like the first of many on the same subject. Jeffrey says, if you're not getting neutral, your cables for forward and reverse need to be adjusted. Yeah. Easy Mike, he can do wheelies. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Easy Mike. Just don't put big girls on the back, is what Easy Mike to you says. Well, that's true even if you didn't have lithium. I have a stock 36-volt EZGO, stock controller and motor. Stock 36-volt EZGO TXT, stock controller and motor. What is the max running amp draw of the motor? Well, see, that varies. That varies depending on what you're doing. Just going down the road, flat ground, wide open throttle is probably about 50 amps, something like that. So, but it varies. As soon as you start going up a hill, a little more. As soon as you start going down a hill, a little bit less, depending on what you're doing. You're taking off from a dead stop and you floor it. That's going to be a big inrush of amps. So that's constantly changing unless you're just going wide open on flat ground. Paul Dumas, 2005 electric club car, won't go. I can still hear the click. Batteries are good. I've tested them. Okay. 2005 electric club car. Paul, does your car have a run tow switch? 2005, does it have a run tow switch? Would be my first question. John says, a little late, but I made it. Good, John, I'm glad you made it. David Shelley, what is 𝗲𝗂𝗲? 𝗲𝗂𝗲 is the potentiometer that Club Car uses. All golf carts have a potentiometer. It's the device that's directly connected to your accelerator pedal. All electric golf cars have a potentiometer. You press the accelerator pedal, what it does is it turns something or moves something in that particular car's type of potentiometer. Club Car uses an 𝗲𝗂𝗲 for a number of years for their potentiometer. That sends the signal to the controller and tells the controller what to output. So if the signal is going up and down, or if it's erratic, if it's not smooth, then the controller is going to not be smooth coming out. Paul Dumas has a 2005. Okay, so you either have a Club Car DS or a Precedent, but it doesn't really matter because either way, just to make you, I don't know if you're aware, you realize that Club Car can actually plug in to your car and get readings and look at your fault codes. You can have your fault codes read, because if your solenoid is clicking, then you either have a bad solenoid, bad controller, or bad motor. I mean, it's going to be one of those three, because that's the only things that are behind the solenoid. So the solenoid itself could be bad even though it's clicking. So you could have your fault codes read if you wanted to do that by Club Car. They're going to charge you for it, but it might be a way that you don't have to do anything, and it takes them about 5 minutes to look at it, to plug into your diagnostic port and read it. Yeah, Paul Dumas, yours is a Precedent. Okay, well they can plug in. It's the same thing. They can plug into there because you have an IQ system in that Precedent, and they can read your fault codes. David Shelley, it's another word for a variable resistor. Yes. Bruce, make sure the lighter people are on the back, as we've run into the front end coming up off the ground under hard acceleration with lithium batteries. So there is something to that question. See, that's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know if that's actually an issue, because if it is, it's going to come up. I'm going to have to answer those questions. I'm going to have to talk to people about that, and I'd like to have some type of solution. And if the solution is ballast in the front, I wanted to know. So thank you, Bruce. No change. Joseph Thomas says no change with lithium conversion on Club Car Precedent lifted and rear seat. All right, so Joseph Thomas is cool without having to worry about ballast. He's saying on a Club Car Precedent lifted. David Shelley says wheelie bar. Number 4, let's see where we were at there. This is from Greg. I have a 94 Club Car DS. It presently has 3 12-volt batteries. I was wondering if there is a recommendation amp I should have for 3 batteries. Presently I have 3 12-volt Everstart 860 Marine cranking amps, 100 hours. The cart loses power fast. Can you please help? I can't help the people that try to use the 312s for long term. There's nothing I can do to help you. The only thing I can say is that that's not going to last very long. It's not going to last very long as far as years go. Will it work? Yes, it will work. It will work. But it's just not, that's not a golf cart battery. That's not the type of lead. That's not the same as a golf cart deep cycle battery. Even though it says Marine deep cycle, it's not the same as a golf cart battery. And you've got half of the amount of lead. And so you're not charging it correctly either. Those batteries are designed to be charged with a boat charger, a Marine boat charger. You know, a 12-volt Marine boat charger individually. They're actually not designed to be charged in series like that. And a golf cart charger is way too powerful to charge them even in series. So anyway, it's never going to work out in the long run. If you just needed to do that to test and make sure your golf cart is working fine, then it's absolutely fine. Do it for a test. But don't try to continue to do that forever, because you're going to be disappointed, and you're going to end up spending more money than you thought, because you're going to have to replace those batteries way more often than you would have to replace 6-volt golf cart batteries. Fish Breath, that's a nice hat. Thank you, Fish. Check it out. It's got a little black on the brim, got a little black stitching up there. little light blue instead of the dark blue. Could add water and antifreeze in front tires. There you go, Norman Lucky. There's your ballast right there. That's true. You could do that. Yep. I don't know how many pounds that would be. Pam says, thank you. I hope your father-in-law has a speedy recovery. Well, I do too. Thank you, Pam. Thank you for saying that. Number 5. This is from Sean. What is the most cost-effective way to increase torque without losing top-end speed on an electric club car? Well, the only way to increase torque without losing speed would be to go with a bigger controller. Just get a bigger controller. You have more amps available. If your cart's having trouble pulling a certain load, and what I mean by pulling a load, I don't necessarily mean pulling a trailer. I mean pulling up a hill or somewhere on your property. Put a bigger controller in there. You got a little bit more amps available. It could help it, or it will help it do that. Now, without losing speed. Now, lithium is different, John, than what I was talking about earlier. I was talking about there are companies that will sell you golf cart batteries, lithium golf cart. Dakota will let you get 3 12 volts in series in your golf cart, but that's different than what I was talking about before. So that's fine. You can do that if you're going to get lithium. You know, that's okay. But what I was talking about before was just like, I think he said his batteries were EverStart from Walmart. You know, that was just marine deep cycle batteries. Lithiums have a BMS. You know, each individual battery has a BMS. It's always balancing things out. So that's why it's okay to do that with those lithiums. But not all lithium companies even allow you to do that, by the way. Dakota still is. Dakota still is allowing that. David Taylor, what's going on, David Taylor from North Florida? 77 degrees. Nice. Greg Elliott, hi. All late, but got new tires on the truck. Cool. It's always nice when you get new shoes on your ride. Let me check over there, make sure everything is cool. It is. Number 6 is where we're at on the regular questions. This is from KB. I have a 2011 Precedent. Uh-oh, here we go. I towed it in run mode. Here we go, guys. So the cart broke down. I already bought a new OBC controller and motor, but the cart still does not run. I was told a new main wiring harness and controller could solve the problem, but I want to know your opinion. I think my opinion would be that is a very good possibility that the wiring, because so much heat is involved when that happens. I mean, I have seen one that was towed with it still in run, came into my shop. You should see what the motor looks like. The motor looks fine on the outside, but when you remove it, it's just a black mangled mess. It's just a black mangled mess. So it's toast. It can't even be rebuilt. I mean, it's just so toasted. The controller is toast. This particular tow was quite a ways, and it even ruined the batteries. The batteries got so hot that the tops of them were like this, like waves. All 6 of them, all 6 batteries, the tops had gotten so hot that they were melted. They were literally had melted, and they were out of shape on the tops. So that being said, do I think that a wiring harness could be messed up too? Oh yeah, definite possibility that it could be a wiring harness that's keeping you from going now. We have Vivid EV and Bentelli lines, so they have a little more zip than the average cart. Vivid EV and Bentelli. Yeah, they do a lot of advertisement in my dealer magazine that I get in my, like Golf Cart Advisor. They do a lot of advertising here for Bentelli. I guess that's how you say it. 𝗏𝘂𝗲 is, looks like it. Yeah, I see those a lot. They look like nice, looks like nice stuff. Big Mike, that was a costly mistake. Is it, Norman says, is it reverse polarity? I don't know the technicals on it, Norman. I just know the outcome of doing it. You know, I saw the outcome. I don't know exactly what's going on that makes that so bad when you tow one without flipping it into tow. I have just seen the outcome more than once, by the way, but that one was really bad with the batteries and everything melting. William Rizzo, what's going on, man? From the Villages, Florida. We are headed to the Keys on Thursday for the Miami Halstead NASCAR race. Cool. That is cool. Both of your cars have the lithium batteries in, the Vivid EV and the 𝗏𝘂𝗲. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, that's the way to go nowadays for sure. Let me check Facebook over here. Looks like we're good. Number 7. Tried to connect the new batteries with the run tow switch in the run position, so I got some sparks on battery. But then I flipped it to the tow position and I'm still getting sparks. Is that normal? Well, if you're in your electrical system, you got to think about this. The main cutoff point is the solenoid, the 2 big posts. That's the cutoff point. All right. Now, if there is a resistor between those 2 big posts, then they're actually still connected a little bit. You know, they're not completely disconnected if there's a resistor across there. So you may get some sparks when you hook your cable, even though it's in tow, because the whole thing is still going. If there's no resistor, you shouldn't get any sparks. We're going to the Keys in November. Already have an EZGO rented. Cool. Big Mike. Can't wait. Looks like we're good there. Number 8 is where we're at. I keep forgetting where we're at there. This is from Alex T. What will happen if you run 6 8-volt batteries on a 36-volt system? Also, what if I just run 5 and make it 40? You always got people that come up with these questions about tweaking the system. What if I run 6 8s? Okay, that's 48 on a 36-volt system if you run 6 8s, and then just run 5, it'd be 40. Okay. One of the only devices that is very, very voltage sensitive in a golf cart system, in the whole system, is the controller. If you try to run 48 volts, just by, if you just put 48 volts in your 36-volt golf cart, first thing that's going to happen is it's going to blow up your controller. Controller is not going to take it because it's a 36-volt controller. Now, if you had a controller in there that would handle 48 volts, that's why when you do a 48-volt conversion, you have to change the controller, because a lot of times stock controllers on 36-volt golf cars will only take 36 volts. They will not handle 48. That's a very voltage sensitive device. Now, you get an aftermarket controller, they have some that will handle from 24 volts all the way up to 48, all the way up to 72. So that is the main component that you're going to tear up when you try to run 48 volts. Now, you mentioned going down to 40. That's actually a good question. That may, obviously, it's a 36-volt golf cart. It's not going to blow up the controller if you run 36.1. Obviously, there's a little bit of a variance in there that it would still be safe. 40 may be okay. I don't know. But how are you going to charge 40? Would be my question. I haven't seen too many lead acid 40-volt golf cart chargers, so that would be my question there. That may or may not work, but I'm just telling you, don't be surprised if you even blow up your controller on that, because a fully charged 40-volt pack's going to probably be like 50 volts or something, or be at least 43, 44, resting voltage. Number 9. from Phil. My power drive charger charges for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then the breaker, for lack of a better term, pops out and it turns off. I just replaced it, so I was wondering why that would happen. Well, I would have questions, Phil. My first question would be, is your battery pack really dead? Is your golf cart really dead? Because if it is, that does put more of a strain on those breakers. And the more those breakers on the front of those chargers, the more they pop, what I have found is the weaker they get. So you may try putting if your golf cart's really dead, you may try using a fan on the charger, like putting a fan right beside it to blow into the charger. If you've got heat building up, check for heat anywhere, like around the charger, the cord going in, check for heat there. I would want to eliminate that as being the problem first, because it could be just your battery pack is so dead. You may have to charge your cart in stages, like charge it for a little while, and if it pops, let everything cool down, let your charger cool down, come back and do it again. But a fan might help also. Oh, y'all going to Florida, trying to make me jealous. How can I test my 𝗚𝗂𝗁 on a 2002 Club Car DS? Well, there is a test, Joseph. There is a test for an 𝗚𝗂𝗁. If you had the Club Car book, which I used to have the Club Car book because I actually worked for Club Car for a short period of time. If you look in the book, the Club Car test for the 𝗚𝗂𝗁 involves these. Let me show you what I've got here. It involves these. This is insulation piercing probes for your voltmeter. Watch this. You squeeze it, it opens up, and there's a little bitty pin in there, and you can put it on a wire and let it close, and it pierces the insulation of the wire, and then you put your other end on the battery negative. This is you put this on the I want to say it's the yellow wire close to the 3-pin connector on the 𝗚𝗂𝗁, but don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. This is just from memory. Yellow wire close to the 3-pin connector plugged into the 𝗚𝗂𝗁, and then you push your accelerator pedal, and what you're looking for is 0 to like 4.75 volts or something like that. Look up the 𝗚𝗂𝗁 test if you want to see that test. That's the official Club Car test is something like that. Maybe not quite exactly like that, but it does involve these, and not everybody has these. Now, the easiest way to have your 𝗚𝗂𝗁 tested is with Club Car with their computer. When they plug, I keep talking about how they can plug in and read your fault codes. They can also plug in and test your 𝗚𝗂𝗁. They can see if your 𝗚𝗂𝗁 is working correctly in like 5 minutes just by plugging it in and then pushing the accelerator pedal, and then they can watch and they can see if your 𝗚𝗂𝗁 is going from 0 to 100%. It doesn't take them any time at all. They can even do it while they're driving to see if your signal is varying, see if it's jumping up and down or whatever. They'll be able to see that there. That's the easiest way. Chris Davidson on Facebook. What's up, Chris Davidson? Thank you for stopping by, man. I have a 2016 RX-V, put new headlights and taillights on it. It worked for a bit. It is street legal, and the turn signal, horn, and lights are the same lever. Didn't use the cart for about a month, and now the headlights are taillights, just horn and signals. It's a Magjax harness. I tell you what I have seen as far as returns go, because we do sell some of them. I've seen that cluster that cause a problem with that, and a lot of times the whole thing will go out, but sometimes just individual things will go out. So you're saying headlights or taillights, just horn and signals. It's a Magjax harness. Yeah, you've got something wrong in that whole harness, that's for sure. Contact, if you bought that from us, Chris, did you say you bought that from us? We do sell that. I don't think you said if you bought it from us or not. Well, you could contact us about a return if you did. No, clip car sent out a code in the reverse buzzer. Do you know anyone selling code readers or setting programmers aftermarket for only OEM? I believe you can get the non-programmable code reader, and you could do things by like looking at fault codes. You can do things that like looking at the M-core. You just are not able to change the speed. That's where you have to get the one that's programmable, and that's going to be one that probably only dealers have. At least that's the way it used to be years ago. I'm not exactly sure if it's still that same way, but I have seen just the regular code readers that just read some stuff on the internet, you know, where you could actually purchase one if you needed to. Fan will help, but if we'll charge more often will help, I think. Okay, Norman, that's cool. David Shelley says he never saw connectors like that. Well, those are voltmeter leads, is what they were, David. They're just leads for your voltmeter, but you don't have to. Like sometimes you need to do a test on a wire, and you can't get the probe into where you need to test. Well, this allows you to just to clip it onto the wire and pierce the insulation of the wire. And then that way you get the, you know, you get inside there and are able to get the reading. Ricky Smith, what's happening if you have the run tow switch in tow and you still get a spark when connecting the battery cables? No resistor. I don't know about that one, Ricky, because if there's no resistor across the solenoid and you connect battery cables, then they're not connected to anything. So there shouldn't be any spark. You know, that's what I was saying. Unless the solenoid's closed, you know, unless the solenoid is closed. Chris Davidson said it was already on when I got the car. What were we talking about there? Oh, okay. It was already on your Magjax kit. Yeah, it was already on there. Yeah. I wonder if you could find out where it came from and see if you could get a date on it. It might be maybe it'd be eligible for a return on wherever it was, because that Magjax kit, you know, came as an entire kit, including, I think it even came with a little bitty voltage reducer. Fish breath. Thanks for all the info, Tim. Got to go. All right, Fish. Cool. Jungle Network sells those voltmeter leads. Jungle Network sells those voltmeter leads. All right. You have an aftermarket lights. David Shelley. What's the purpose of the resistor on the solenoid if it works without the resistor? Sir Walter. It's called a pre-charge resistor. It keeps your controller pre-charged. For some reason, electrically, it's better to have it pre-charged than all of a sudden turn it on from a dead stop. So it keeps it kind of fired up a little bit because it doesn't let full voltage go through there, but it lets some. That's the purpose of the resistor, you know, to reduce voltage a little bit. Number 10. This is the last of the regularly scheduled questions. We're going to run a little bit late, but because I do have a Let's See segment here for you in the room, Gary. We got Gary England's cart today for the Let's See segment. So if you're in there, if you're in the room, Gary, hang around. We're getting there. My cart's a 2007 Yamaha Drive. I'm losing my lug nuts when I drive on the rear wheels. The lug nuts are stripped, and I believe I need new lug nuts. I wanted to know if it's a good idea just to replace the hubs or the whole assembly. '2007 Yamaha Drives. Well, that's why the title of this episode was Metric Lug Nuts, because I guess a lot of people don't realize that Yamaha has metric lug nuts. You can change the wheels and tires from a Yamaha to an EZGO you can change the wheels and tires from a club car to an EZGO to a Yamaha. But don't mix up the lug nuts or you'll end up with some stripped stuff. Yamaha's the only one that has metric lug nuts. So if you've got stripped, it's probably because somebody tried to put one of the others, because they like almost fit, but then if you force them down with a lug nut wrench or some kind of air tool, then you're going to end up stripping them. Okay. engine. Big Mike, what's the load capacity of a 17 TXT with 4-leaf rear? Anyone have any ideas? Well, the load capacity of a normal golf cart is about 800 pounds. That's normal. Now, you start putting heavy-duty leaf springs on there, it does increase some. So, but just a normal golf cart's around 800 pounds load capacity. Okay, let me run those social media links one more time. That was the last regular question. You can follow us on Facebook and YouTube, obviously, and please do give a thumbs up, like and subscribe, do all that stuff. Any type of interaction actually helps. If you would like to purchase something from Golf Cart Garage, then you can go to golfcartgarage.com and use this coupon. Or did we change it? I hope we did. Coupon code Tim. Uh-oh. I don't think we ever changed the coupon, Iman. Okay, forget that one. Let me, wonder if I could find that. Anyway, if you've got some products, if Iman is listening, or somebody ask Iman what the new coupon code is for me, please. We forgot to do that. If you have any suggestions on products that you would like for us to carry at Golf Cart Garage, here's some contact info here. You've got the support at golfcartgarage.com. You've got the phone number. You can also put anything in the chat there. Big Mike says, let's see some cards. All right. If you would like to purchase a hat from Golf Cart Garage, you are welcome to. There's some hot links down in the description that take you right to them. And bam, there's the hats you can get from Golf Cart Garage. Then you can also use the coupon code as soon as I figure out what the coupon code is, because I haven't looked at it yet. They'll take you right to them. You can pick what color that you would like. Market lights may be a separate circuit. Yep, they usually are. Separate circuit, just 12 volts. Oh, I'm jumping over to Facebook. This is John on Facebook. 2008 G29 electric. My batteries are less than a year old and check out fine. I have 2 chargers and both of them never turn off, leading me to think I have something wrong in the cart. Well, I like the fact that you've tried 2 chargers. And what do you mean by never shut off? I mean, how many hours have you actually let them run? Because a good dead battery pack can take 16 hours or more before the charger gets the reading that it needs to shut off. So that would be my question. And how are you determining that they're never shutting off on a 2008? Are you determining that with a voltmeter, like at the end of the charge cycle? I just have a few questions, John. That's all. I want to make sure that they're not shutting off, and I want to know how you're determining that they're not. Because if you're using 2 chargers, that's exactly what I would have done. I would have tried another charger first. I'd like to check those batteries, even though they're less than a year old. I'd like to see what's going on. You could have one. You could have one battery that's causing these problems. One cell. You know how you got 4 holes in the tops of your batteries? You could have just one of those holes giving you a problem that's causing your charger not to shut off. Like, I was installing the batteries. Okay, that was the hat graphic. Social media. I'll check the coupon here in a minute. Ricky says something's drawing current somewhere. Yeah, something is, if you're getting that. Oh, John, what'd you do? You switched over to YouTube? I let it charge overnight and really wasn't that low. Well, how many hours do you think, John, is what I was saying? How many hours do you think that you let it go? Because a lot of people get nervous, and what I'm saying is that if it's still charging the next day, I would want to put a voltmeter on it, on the battery pack, and see where it's at, see where the volts are at, because right at the end of the charge cycle, it should be 60 volts or more should be on that battery pack. So I'd want to check that out and make sure that it's getting that far, is what I'm saying. For a club car starter belt tensioner. Yeah, oh yeah, I remember talking to you about that. Yeah, there needs to be some kind of device that helps with tightening the starter belt on a club car. Current draw could be a 12-volt converter. Okay, yep, that's true. It could be the voltage reducer. Okay, well, it looks like it's going to be about it. We didn't know it. We got to do, let's see. Okay, let's see. Guys, bam. Whoop, that's not bam yet. Bam, now we are. Let's see some cards. All right, you're going to have to let it go for more than 9 hours, John, before I'm convinced that it won't shut off. Let's see some cards. All right, today's featured card is from our own Gary England. Gary England sent me some photos, thank you Gary, of his cart. I don't know if he's still in the room or not, but if he's not, I'm going to talk about him behind his back. Ready, set, bam. This is my new to me 1999 EZGO workhorse with the Robin 350 and a 6-inch drop axle lift. Has 22-inch tires on the front and 25-inch on the back. I installed a Jake shifter so far. It's still a work in progress, planning on painting it over the winter to something more woodsy. Gary England, that is cool. That's one picture of his EZGO. And here's another. He's got a winch on the front, and there's a picture of the drop axle. Now that's a work cart. That's very similar to mine, except that started as a workhorse. I can tell because it's a little longer. If you notice, it's not just a regular length TXT. That started as an EZGO workhorse. So yeah, that's a good work cart, no doubt about it. That's my kind of cart. I got things to do. I got moves to make. I got things to do. I always have to move something. I got a trailer. I got to pull something. So yeah, I like cars like that. All right, let me look over here on Facebook. Make sure I'm still good there. Yep, everything's cool there. I want to thank everybody for showing up. We're running a little bit long today, but that's no big deal. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. We will be back on, this is Tuesday. We will be back on Thursday and with another episode. And everybody please come back. We'll do this again. We'll talk about some golf carts. Big Mike says, dang, that's an absolute unit. Yep. Never stuck in the mud. Gabriel Medina, thanks for a great show. Thank you, Gabriel. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Gary Elliott, it's a good car. Thumbs up from Kurt. Yeah, I like cars like that. That's a work car. So you know, we don't only want to see you know, fancy paint job cars and stuff. Those are cool too. But I like to see functional cars that you know that are for work. I mean, look at mine. No, well, not that one, but look at this one. It's definitely not fancy, but it gets the job done. I mean, as far as me spraying for bugs or spraying my yard, it definitely gets the job done. That's why I like stuff like that. Big Mike, great show. Thank you, Big Mike. All right, guys, we are gone. We are out. Oh, Dino. Let me show Dino. 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 Dino got to make an appearance. Dino, come here. Come here. Come here. Come over here. Can you load up? Can you load up? There you go. That's it. Good boy. Can you shake it? Can you shake it? Can you shake it? Can y'all see Dino? There he is. There's Dino Man. He was dead asleep just now. All right, we'll see y'all guys next time. Garage is now closed.